Okay, we are working now on Module 9 or Chapter 9, Session 9.2. And what this Section 9.2 is dealing with is understanding using content controls. Content controls are probably one of the most important elements of an online form. That way you can click on a drop-down box and make a selection. You can put in a date in the correct format. You know exactly where to put your name or your address. Sometimes forms are not real clear whether you put it above the line or below the line. But with content controls, all of that indecisiveness, or you will, or uncertainty becomes much more clear. So that is what we're going to be working on in this session 9.2. All right, one of the first things, and I have already done it, but I'll show you how I did it, is to turn on the developer tab. You can see I have mine located right here. So how did I get that on there? I will go to File, okay, which will take me, once it opens, there we go. And you will go to the Options tab, which is located at the bottom. And once you go there, you will come here and you will see Customize Ribbon. We will click on Customize Ribbon, okay? And then since this is choosing commands from popular commands, but this is not a command, we want to change a tab on the ribbon. So Customize Ribbon over here on the right. And then if you will look down almost to the bottom of the list, you will see Developer. I already have mine clicked because I'm using it. I've already started using it, and so I have clicked my Developer. Make sure yours should have a check beside it. Once you do that, you need to click OK. All right, and then again, you'll look up here, your Developer tab is already located here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. Because that's what we're going to be using. However, we do need to make sure, we'll go to our Home tab, make sure that your Show Hide button is selected, and also go to View and do Zoom and put it at 120% if it's not already. And then just click OK there. All right, so then we're going to go back to our Developer tab. Okay, so what we're going to do is talk about, first of all, there are two different types of content controls. There's the very simple one, which is plain text, where you can only put in a single paragraph. A paragraph is not a group of sentences in this particular case, okay? And in Word, a paragraph is simply a new line. So in a form, a single paragraph would be your name. And then like in this particular case, a new paragraph would be address, and a new paragraph would be cabin number, okay? So that would be called a plain text content control. However, you also have something called rich text content controls, and that's when there are going to be multiple paragraphs or multiple lines in one section. Okay, that's when you would use rich text. So simple or plain is single, rich would be multiple or more than one. Okay, so now what we're going to do, we want to insert a plain text content control and set the properties. The best place to start right here would be beside the cell to the right containing name and then on the ribbon. So I'm going to go to my little show hide button thing here. I don't know what this thing is called. I guess it just shows where their new cell starts. So I am going to click on that. Okay, and then I'm going to go and click on the Developer tab, which I've already got developed. And in the content, or excuse me, the controls group, I need to click on the plain text content control. Now, that would be one of these located right here. All right, but the plain text, if you don't know what these symbols mean, all you have to do is take your cursor and hover over it until you find plain text content control. And once you do that, you will click on it. And you can see that a plain text content control has been entered in on our form. All right, now we're going to set the properties for that particular content control. So we're going to go to Properties. And what it wants us to do is to title this content control. Okay, and so we're going to very simply name this Passenger Name. because that's what it's going to be. All right, so looking down at this dialog box, what we want to do is, here it says to use a style to format the text typed into the empty control. So what this is talking about is, I'm going to move that out of the way, this is going to have a certain style text or formatted text in it. Okay, that's what that's referring to. So what we're going to do is we want to click that because we want to use something that's pretty eye-catching so that the user will know what it is that they are supposed to do. So we're going to click in the style arrow, and when we get to style, we're going to scroll down until we find strong. Again, strong is going to let you know that, look, this is something you need to pay attention to. So in other words, it's kind of like in bold. Right now, the other thing, content that the other click box that we want to click is to make sure that this content control cannot be deleted by the user, okay? And that is just simply by clicking on this box under the locking section here and then click click OK. All right, so you can see that the title of this content control is now visible and with the instructions that are immediately below it. All right, so what we want to do here is that we want to click outside of that content area box, and you can see that the content controls actually disappear. And all you have is your instructions there. Sometimes what we want to do when we have a content control, we just don't want to use a generic instruction. We want to change it and make it very specific. So we're going to come back over here. We're going to click in our content control and we're going to go to design mode. And in design mode, you can see this was placeholder text, letting you know that you can put something there. You can leave it there or you can replace it with something else that you would like. And what we're going to do is we're going to actually replace it with something else. So we're going to highlight, click or tap here to enter text, but I'm not going to include my period in that selection. And then I'm simply going to type in, enter passenger's first and last name. Enter passengers' first and last names. All right, so now I've got that put in. And so you can remain in the design mode because we're going to add additional content controls at this point. All right, so I'm going to click outside of that. And then the next thing I want to go to is to address. So you'll go to the right of address. And once you go there, you want to insert another plain text content controls. You know where that is now. And we want to go to properties. And with properties, we want to again type in the title for that, which would be passenger address. All right, again, we're not going to change the style on that, but we are going to click the box that tells us that it cannot be deleted by the user. So we're going to go ahead and do that and click OK. Then the next thing that we want to do is change, click or tap here to enter text, and we want to make it more specific. So we are going to come in here and highlight that placeholder text, but not the period at the end of the sentence, and we're going to put in here, enter passenger's address. Again, that gives us a very specific action that it wants us to take when filling out this online form. All right, so now we want to click to the right of the cell of cabin number. And we're going to do very much the exact same thing. We're going to go to plain text content control. And then we're going to go to properties. And we're going to type in cabin number as the title. Okay, we want to click content control cannot be deleted, and we're going to click OK. And then once we do that, we want to change the placeholder text to read something different and more specific. And so we're going to be typing in enter passenger's cabin number. And you do not have to add a period to the end because we did not delete it previously. All right, once you do that, we want to click in the cell right of card number. Card number is down in the bottom section. And once we go there, we want to again insert plain text. So we're doing the same format over and over again. All right, and we want to go to properties, and with properties, we want to type in for the title credit card number. I'm going to make that a capital N since that's what they've got in there. We want to fix it so that it cannot be deleted. Once we do that, we're going to click OK. All right, and we're in design mode, and what we want to do, again, get rid of the placeholder generic text, and we're going to put in something specific like enter credit card number. All right, and then once we go there, we're going to go to the right of number of pieces, which is located right here. And then what we want to do again, plain text, properties, number of pieces as the title, NO period of number of pieces. When we want to fix it where it cannot be deleted, we're going to click OK. We're going to go in and get rid of the placeholder text and put in very simply enter number of pieces to ship. Enter number of pieces to ship. All right. So we've got that in there now, enter number of pieces to ship. And then the next place that we're going to go is beside notes. So we're going to go to notes and we're going to title that. So again, we'll go to plain text content control. Want to go to properties. We're going to call this, we're going to title it notes. That's simple enough. Fix it where it cannot be deleted. Click OK. And then what we want to do again is change this placeholder text to something specific like enter notes here. Okay. All right. Now what we want to do here is save the template in this form. So let's go over here and click our save button. Okay. So now what we want to do is turn off the design mode. And because what we're getting ready to do is to actually test some of these content controls to see if they're working the way that they are supposed to. All right, so what I want to do is I want to click to the cells of the right containing name. So I'm going to go right here, and I'm just going to simply type in Jane Doe. And you can see that it's enter in there. The next thing that it wants us to do is to go to address and put in 123 Main Street. 123 Main Street. And you can see how the names come in like it's supposed to. All right, so we have tested 2 of those content controls. We see that they work. So we're just going to go back and hit the undo button to get rid of those 2 things. You can also click on those and backspace, and it would give you the same effect. All right, so now that we know that our content controls are all set, at least for this part of the form, we have tested a couple of them, and we know that they work. This is the end of the part 1 video. We will begin on part 2 in our next video, which is inserting date picker content controls. We'll check you out in the next video.